Hi, everybody. It's Christy Forsyth from Clarity, and welcome to Intuition 101. I am an intuitive empath, a psychic medium, and have been learning about my own intuition and how my intuition works through my entire life. And I see it as a huge part of my own purpose to help other people to connect with their intuition as well. I see it as even so much more important than doing psychic readings for other people, because I think at the end of the day, our intuition is always going to trump what other people's intuition has to say about us. And so it's so important that we are learning to connect with our own intuitive abilities. And in case you're wondering if you have intuitive ability, absolutely you do. I believe that everyone does. And what you're going to learn is that we all have different ways that we are intuitive and different ways that we connect with our intuition. The reason that we want to connect with our intuition is because it provides us really with the roadmap for living our very best life. It helps us to know what decisions we should make, what's going to be the best choice for us, and what's going to be that next step in our lives. It helps us to know how we can best take care of ourselves and what it is that we need here on this earth. So it just really is that guidance system for us that's going to help us to live our very best life. So we want to make sure that we are tuned in and tapped into that, because when we are connected with our intuition, we find ourselves feeling much more joyful, much more relaxed, and feeling like we are living a purposeful and meaningful life, because we are living in alignment with the life that we are meant to live. So let's get started as we dive into learning more about our intuition. And first, I want to say that it's really important that we not compare ourselves and our intuitive abilities to other people, because we're all going to have our own unique gifts and they're all going to look differently. And what can happen is when we compare ourselves to other people and what their gifts look like, we can minimize our own intuitive gifts, or we can assume that we're not intuitive because maybe that gift in somebody else looks different and looks like it's more powerful or better in some way. But we really want to make sure that we are recognizing that just like every other quality that we have, our intuition is going to be different from other people's. And so we're going to be exploring that and learning more about your intuition and how that looks for you. And I think that as we go through this class, you'll begin to make those connections and things will begin to click and you'll begin to recognize your intuitive gifts. But again, release any preconceived notions about what it is that you expect with that, and just allow yourself to explore your own intuitive style. So where does our intuition come from? Because this is a common question that I get from people who are wanting to understand where it is that this information comes from. And the truth is that this is not an easy answer, because as human beings, we want to put things into a specific structure. We want to understand things. We want that to be relatively black and white, and we want to be able to put that into a specific category. But the problem is the energy doesn't really fit into a specific category, and really intuition simply comes from energy. The energy of everything that ever was, everything that is, and everything that ever will be. And some people refer to that as the Akashic Records. Some people refer to that as the universe, but it comes from this overall big energy, and we're able to tap into it. It gives us information about ourselves and our souls and other people's souls as well, because quite frankly, we're not separate. We are all one. And so we're able to access this information about ourselves and about other people from this big energy field. However, I think that it's helpful as human beings to give it a little bit of a structure. So I'm going to give you some of my ideas as to where it feels like some of this intuitive information comes from. And that very first thing is God, source, this Akashic energy. It is a direct download from God. It is this information that God wants you to know for you to live your best life path. And so you may find yourself feeling really connected one day, and maybe feeling an overall sense of peace and calm as you're receiving that intuitive information from God. God wants us to live an amazing life and an intuitive life, and will give us so many messages to help guide us so that we are living our absolute best life path. I also believe that that comes from the members of what I call our spirit team. So we have a spirit team, and we'll talk some more about this later, but we have a spirit team of energies that are here simply to support us here on this earth, to give us love, to give us support, and to help us to live the life that we intended before we got here. And so included on that spirit team are our own personal angels and also our spirit guides. And the angels are more for the purpose of helping us to be connected to God's love and helping us to feel safe and protected. And our guides are here for the purpose of helping to guide our path. And so both of them will give us intuitive information, particularly if we are starting to get off of our path, or if it's an important time in our lives where we're really supposed to be focusing on things. So you may find yourself connecting with those guides and those angels and feeling as though you're getting some really powerful messages from them as well. I also think that we get information from the energy around us. Everything is energy. And so we're constantly getting information. We're getting information from the space that we're in, from the energy fields around other people, basically everywhere. And so we're constantly processing the energy around us, and that is providing us with intuitive information. Think about those times that you've stood next to somebody and that you've understood on a deep level that maybe they're having a tough day, or maybe you even have a sense of why they're having a tough day, or you're understanding that that person that you're interacting with who is smiling is really struggling underneath that smile. And so this is where that intuitive information about the energy around us is connecting for us. We're beginning to understand that. Or when we walk into a space and that space feels not very good, or not like a space that you want to be in, or really, really creepy, that is intuitive information. Or when you walk into a space and it feels amazing and it feels like a space that your energy field wants to be in. So we're constantly getting this information, and we're constantly being guided by all of these energies around us.